you guys? It's your girl Carly. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. If you are new here, make sure to click the subscribe button down below. I post videos every single Friday and I would absolutely love to see you in the next one. In today's video, we are going to be doing a reading your assumptions about me. This is a video I've actually never done on my channel before, but I do really enjoy watching these on other people's channels. And not gonna lie, I was a little bit nervous to ask you guys to make assumptions about me because if you've been following me for a while or you follow me on Instagram or the podcast or anything, you guys know I kind of have a very polarizing personality. And I was like, oh, are they gonna go in? Like, what's the tea? And I guess we'll find out. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Number one is you don't trust people easily. I feel like for me, I actually genuinely do trust people, sometimes a little bit too easily. I think that for me, I am very open and I'm very wanting to see, I guess, the best in everybody at all times. In high school, we actually had to write a paper where you were like, are people inherently good or bad? And my stance on it has and always will be that people are inherently good. So I feel like I do trust very easily. The next one we have on here is you rarely take a day off, and that is absolutely true. It's actually funny that this question or this assumption like arose because I had therapy on Monday and I was talking to my therapist, and I also was talking to my manager, and I was like, I think I want to retire at 35 or something. And my manager was like, what are you gonna do at 35? And so I told my therapist this, and she was like, you're not gonna stop, but you're definitely gonna slow down if you want, maybe. And I was like, you're absolutely right. So I do actually really agree with this one. I rarely do take days off, and it's not because I feel like I always have such constant pressure for myself. It's because I really love what I do and I enjoy what I do, and I would like to spend my time doing it. The next one is you're mad rich. I wouldn't say mad rich. Genuinely, this is the first year that I've actually made any type of substantial amount of money in my career. I'm very lucky to make the money that I do, but like, is it rich? Absolutely not. Like, I feel like I have a very moderate middle class income, nothing too crazy. I definitely would not say mad rich. This one comes from my friend Clara, and she says, I feel like you're breaking hearts left and right and you enjoy it. You also appear very sweet, but you could probably drag people to filth if they piss you off. To the point about breaking boys' hearts, I feel like sometimes I do definitely go through phases where I'm like, I don't care, I just want to, you know, fuck around and see people and like not give a fuck about their feelings, which maybe sometimes isn't always the best option, but I do definitely do it. And then on her other point about being sweet but like dragging people to filth, I feel like you guys have probably seen it on social media a couple times where I've just blatantly dragged people. However, I find the only people that I actually get in like altercations with or I'm ever actually mad at are people who fuck with my friends, because for me, I'm like, if you don't like me, that's fine. Like, it's fine, versus a lot of my friends are not the same personality type as me, and if somebody's going after my friends, you best believe I will be dragging whoever that person is by their hair. Like, I just don't fuck with it. This is from one of my friends, and he says, you're black, which is correct. I'm half German, half Jamaican. This is so interesting. This is another one. It says, you're living your best life and you're secretly super rich. I don't know what gives y'all the super rich vibes. You know what? I'm kind of happy that y'all see the super rich vibes, because that means like my highest self and my best self is coming through, and I'm like making that pathway to be super rich, but I am by no means super rich. This one, I was like, this one says you're overbearing and hard to be around. And I feel like this comes down to a couple things. So first things first, I feel like if you are the type of person who is an introvert, who is super introverted, who hates people who are loud, who hates people who have large personalities, who have no filters, you will hate me as a person, because I am that person. Like, I am also not gonna be out here devaluing myself to make someone else feel comfortable. I just feel like, you know, if we don't mesh, we don't have to be friends. Or you're on the opposite spectrum where you have a similar personality to me and we just like clash. Because I've had that happen before too, where I have genuinely hated people because their personality is so similar to mine, and we just always are fighting, and it's just not the vibe. I wouldn't say I'm overbearing or hard to be around. I actually have a lot of really, really good friends who really care about me. But overall, like, I wouldn't say I'm overbearing or hard to be around. This next one says you're the mom friend in your friend groups, and that I feel like is absolutely correct. However, I feel like I'm like the fighter mom. We kind of talked about this a little bit earlier about how I will literally like throw punch a bitch if somebody's fucking with my friends, and I feel like that's very maternal. I feel like I am very mom vibes, but I'm also, you know, very wholesome mom vibes in the fact that I'm like always the girl who's making sure everybody's drinking water when we're out, like everybody has to get home. I'm the bitch that's like, text me when you get home, make sure you're alive, like put your Find My Friends on, send me a notification when you're on your date. Like, I am that kind of person. My best friend, she's been on a couple like not so great dates, and I've been like, do you need me to crash them? Do you need me to show up? Like, what's the tea? Like, I very much so value all of my friendships and all of my personal relationships, and I think that that is definitely like mom friend type of vibes. I just feel like I just want to take care of everybody because, you know, they're important to me. This next one says, you're a hoe. Beautiful hoe living her best life. And I mean, definitely 2019 was the hoe season for me because she was wildin'. She was wildin'. If you want to hear any of my like super crazy, super fun hoe stories, I have a podcast. It's called Hey Bitches Podcast. You can check it out anywhere you listen to podcasts. You can literally hear about all of my sexcapades and all of my wild nights on the podcast, but I mean, I would not say that is not correct. This next one actually says, you were brought up super religious, and it's funny because I'm actually the opposite. So nobody in my family is religious. I was not born religious. I was not brought up religious. I did not go to any type of religious school. However, in high school, I actually was casually seeing this guy who was going to church, and I was like, okay, I'll go to church to like impress this guy. And so I did that. However, I loved my experience. And so I actually continued going to this church. It's actually the only church I go to, but I continued going to this church for the next like 3 years. And I really started to develop a good relationship, not only with the people at the church, but with God and religion. And my family was super, super supportive for me. And they always have been, and they're very open-minded. And then the next couple years kind of went by. I found that I still have kind of a connection to religion. However, I'm not as like hardcore as I was in high school. But in February of 2019, I actually got a little religious tattoo on my ankle. It says Kingdom Come. It's from the Lord's Prayer. It's also from a song by one of my favorite artists, John Bellion. And so I think religion for me is a very personal thing. I think that I'm able to understand and connect with God and the higher power on my own. Then I don't really need to go to church 24/7 all the time. However, in terms of this assumption, I actually was not brought up religious. However, I was very lucky to be able to find religion on my own and make my own choices about it. This next one says, you have a secret boyfriend. And listen, if I had a secret boyfriend, it wouldn't be a secret. Y'all would know about it. And I don't even mean like y'all would know who he was and what he does and all of this, but like I definitely would not be so single on the internet if I had a secret boyfriend. This next one says, you're the best type of gal to become a wing woman for a friend. I feel like I'm a great wing person, and it's because I have no fear. So if one of my friends is like, oh, I like this guy, da da da, like, and I'm like, oh, well, do you want to talk to them, or do you want to do something? Do you want to go over? And they're like, oh, I don't know, da, da, da. I'm like, get in, bitch, we're going. And so I will walk over there. I will put all my shit on the line because I don't care about if it's weird or embarrassing or anything. If my friend is into them, I don't care. I'm just like, let's fucking go. And so I feel like I'm a good wing person. This next one says, you don't get any sleep, which is literally the furthest from the truth because I love sleep, okay? I always get shit on by my whole friend group because I, you know, can get up at 5 a.m. and I can be really productive and I can do all this stuff and I have a great personality and I love to go out and have a good time. 11 p.m. hits and I'm like, we're going to bed, I'm so tired. I do get an absolute shit ton of sleep. I normally sleep like 8 to 9 hours a night. I find sleep is very valuable and I really prioritize it, and I've also just never been a night owl. I'm so much more of a morning person. This next one says, you're always body positive and love your body every day. This is actually not true whatsoever. So I think that a lot of you guys think because I'm on this body positivity and this body confidence journey publicly online, you guys think I have this unbreakable, like unshakable confidence, which I love that you think of me like that. However, at the end of the day, I'm just a normal girl, and sometimes there's days where I wake up and I'm like, ooh, like maybe I don't love my body so much, maybe I want to change this, maybe I want to do that. And I think that that's perfectly normal. There's nothing wrong with it. We all kind of struggle with the same thing every day. However, I think what really helps me is the fact that I can recognize those things and then I take steps to work on, you know, my negative self-talk and my mindset and actually addressing those type of things to make them better. However, I don't wake up every single day and love my body every single day. There's definitely times where, you know, I have insecurities or I just don't even want to look at myself for the day because I think that's just a normal part of life. Someone says, "You're a witch," and then in quotes, "Please teach me." I have definitely been going through a lot more of like the spiritual and like the pagan type of side and understanding. I think that for me, spirituality, religion, those kind of things really flow in my life very easily. I have something in my chart, in my like astrological chart, that really explains that for me, but I'm very open to so many different ideas, and so recently I have been exploring a lot more like witchcraft and paganism and stuff like that, and a lot of it has to do with how I feel about manifestation, how I want my life to unfold. I think my favorite type of like witchy thing is candle magic because I've always been super drawn to candles and they've always been something that I absolutely love. So I like that part. I wouldn't say I'm like a witch because I feel like I'm not qualified to teach anybody anything, and I definitely do not know everything about it, but I am kind of like dabbling in the whole situation. You wish you were still a cheerleader. I feel like if you were to ask like 20, 21, 22-year-old me this question, I would be like, yes, absolutely, I miss it so much. Now that I'm 24, I just feel like that whole part of my life is so distant. And I feel like when you're hearing that, you're like, Carly, 24 is literally not that old at all, especially to be cheering like professionally in the CFL. However, everybody always forgets that when I was in the CFL, I was 17, 18. So that was so long ago that it seems like a different lifetime ago, and definitely like I'm not dancing consistently anymore or anything like that. I loved the atmosphere of it all. I love cheerleading. I think it very much so suits my personality. However, would I go back into the CFL right now if I could? Kind of conflicted. I feel like sometimes I'm like, yes, absolutely, and then other times I'm like, my knees need a break. So, I don't know. This next one says, you don't have a lot of black friends. And I feel like yes and no. So growing up, I actually went to a predominantly white school for all of my schools, and I attribute that to the fact that I went to a German bilingual school from K to 12. So I speak fluent German. I went to German school like my whole entire educational career. However, because of that, like so many German people are white. And that's not to say that there are not black German people, because I know a ton of those too. However, like most of the people that I saw every single day in my life were white. Now, at the same time, like I was in competitive dancing and all of this, and there just wasn't a lot of black girls around me. However, going into high school, I did form a lot of good friendships with a lot of black girls and black guys. And then I feel like this most recent year, probably like 2019, 2020, I've had an influx of incredible black friends. And I think that they are so funny. Black humor is absolutely unmatched, and I really actually enjoy having all of my incredible black friends because I think it allows me really to tap into that other half of me that I didn't really grow up around, because for me, like my entire family is white, like the black side of my family doesn't live here. So I grew up around like a completely white environment. So it's really nice to have all of these like new friends in my life that are black women who are incredible, because it allows me to kind of tap into that side that I never got to have growing up. This next one says, you aren't straight, and I feel like that would be correct. So something that I feel like I'm open about all of the time, but you guys are always shocked when I share, is that I am bisexual. I've literally identified as bisexual for a very long time. I've talked about it openly. You've probably seen me shooting my shots in girls' comments on TikTok. Like I don't know what to tell you. I am not straight because I am bisexual. This one comes from one of my best friends, Gage, and he said, you're already decorating for Christmas. He's not wrong. This next one says, COVID changed your dream of moving to LA, and I think that is very correct. I was actually supposed to move in August. I had all of these procedures and all these applications and whatever in place to do it, and then obviously COVID hit in March and that kind of went absolutely downhill. And I feel like in hindsight it was a blessing because I've kind of changed my priorities, what I want to do, where I want to live. My career has also completely transformed in the matter of less than a year, so COVID has definitely changed my dream of moving to LA. However, I don't think it's been in a negative way. Last but not least, this one says, you are that friend that always gives the blunt advice even if it's harsh. And I feel like that is a yes. I am very self-aware and I'm very, I guess, subjective when it comes to other people. So I can very easily step out of a situation and be like, you're being a dumb bitch, this is what's happening, da 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 da, all of this to other people. However, to myself, I don't listen. I don't listen. But if somebody else needs to hear, you know, harsh advice or anything like that, I will be that bitch. And I think that I've always been the kind of person who's like, honesty is very, very important. And I think that when you surround yourself with too many people who are like yes men and hyping you up on things that aren't even a good idea, then you become like a person who is too overly confident for no reason. Like you don't have anything to back it up. Your ego gets too inflated and it's just not fun to be surrounded by people who never challenge you because then you never grow. That is it for today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe down below. I post videos every single Friday and I would love to see you in the next one. Bye!